Welcome to Lab Results. We are live. This is Wednesday, August 25th. Year is moving fast and quick, y'all. Tonight we have a great session that we're going to have with two of our brothers that were at our session on Monday. And they were actually the proctors of the session on Monday. They were the ones who brought us together for Unity Week. And they've been doing Unity Week all this week. But before we get to them, before we get to doing that part of our session today, what we want to do is make sure that we honor our ancestors, those that came before us, because we know that this work that we do could not have been done without the work that they did in the past. So we are standing on their shoulders. What we do here is just a simple libation of us putting a fist in the air. And I'm gonna ask you brothers, if you could do the same with me, just put a fist in the air and then just shout at one ancestor on three. And then we'll say Ashe after that. All right. So 1, 2, 3, Sylvester William, Ashe.
Ashe.
We always do that at the beginning. You know, normally we have a bit of a longer libation that we do, but with lab results, us having such short time, we don't want to waste any time. And I shouldn't say waste time. We don't want to lose time talking to these brothers tonight. So tonight with me and joining me also will be my brother Maoli Davis, who is the founder of Black Man Lab. He's going to come on as well, but he's on another call right now. And in the meantime, I want to introduce my two brothers who have been part of the Black Man Lab since its inception. And they have their own organization, which is absolutely amazing. And I just want them to give a quick introduction of themselves, and then we'll get into the conversation. So first up, brothers, jump in. Jermaine, how about you first, man? Give an intro of yourself.
Hey, first of all, I want to say, man, thank you to the Black Man Lab, man, and all y'all do for the community and all y'all do for the brotherhood. Man, and how y'all embraced I'm a father first from the start. And, you know, man, we just want to say we thank y'all for y'all support. And any brothers that have support us, man, we thank y'all. About a shirt. Just said it out your mouth, man. We thank y'all, brothers, man. But I'm Jermaine Todd. I'm from Southwest Atlanta. Man, I played baseball growing up, man. My mom passed away when I was like 20 years old. Kind of grew up without my father in my life, but he was around. He played baseball, but it was so weird that I never got to throw a baseball with my father. So, you know, that kind of fuel like what our passion is today is I'm a father first. We mentor fatherless boys between the age of 8 through 18. So we kind of fit in like, I like to say like sub dads, and you know what I'm saying? We just one call away. So shout out to Black Man Lab Nation. What's happening? We in the building. Father first.
Yes, sir.
We love you for it. Keith.
Yes, sir. Keith A. Lewis Jr. I'm the founder here at I'm a Father First with Jermaine. Over the past 4 years, we've just buried ourselves in this service. But, you know, prior to that, like Jermaine said, I'm from Atlanta as a whole, really. Grew up in the city, came up off Washington Road. So I got a lot of mixed variations. Me and my brother met at Mays High back in '94. So, you know, I got relationships on the south side, the west side, and play sports all over the city. So it just made me be the type of person that those people are all around. And as I became a father and then eventually a divorced father, the passion was invigorated to start I'm a Father First. It was a nonprofit that came from our hearts, and being native sons of the city, we just wanted to really reduce the amount of fatherless homes. So from there, our programs began.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So let's talk. Well, you know what, real quick, I'm going to bring Brother Maoli Davis is here. I just want to bring him on so he can say a quick shout, and then we'll get into the conversation. Maoli.
Hey, what's up, brothers? Good to see everybody, man. Just locked in, still here at the office, man. But glad to see you, brothers, and you know, happy Unity Week as we keep that grind on, man. It was beautiful, man, to see the work at Best Academy that's getting done and continuing to get done. So, you know, I just give thanks for you all's steadfastness, man. That's what we need is, as we said with the young people the other day, man, it's about consistency and our young people knowing that we're consistently there for them. And y'all have done that, man. So I'm looking forward for the, the conversation and for us to talk about collaboration over competition.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it a bit, bro.
And yeah, and on that note, let's talk about first. Let's talk about what got you guys wrapped around the thought of creating Unity Week and specifically collaboration over competition, which was the underlying theme. What got you guys into that mindset of having Unity Week and then that underlying theme?
Yeah, well, it was funny, man, because my personality, I'm a very bullheaded and laser focused leader, right? So
never noticed, Keith. Never noticed.
Right. So for me, it was funny, right? Because I think all people with my personality feel like there's nobody there with them. And a lot of times, as my brother had to correct me, is because you're not letting people be there for you in the way that they know how to serve. So it started from a place of knowing that collaboration was needed, but not knowing how to get it. So, I mean, it's really just grown from the first year being a prayer breakfast that you guys participated in, Black Man Lab on Monday, and then partnering with Atlanta Public Schools. And then now in year 3, man, last year we partnered with Ford and V103 with what we were doing. And then this year, we didn't do any advertising. We just, as we saw the importance of the connection, we just partnered with nothing but organizations. And right now we probably have about 15 Black male-led organizations. And we're just excited. We're excited to bring these men. Today we had literally, like the picture behind you, Marty, we might have had 15 brothers at Gene Childs Young. When Mawali came yesterday, we probably had 15 brothers tap in. So to see 30 organizations or 30 individuals from multiple organizations, the goal is being birthed. It's just connectivity, just continuing what you guys are doing.
Absolutely. And I think that underlying theme of us having a level of connectedness with all these different organizations is the right mindset, because so often we're all doing great work, right? All these different organizations are doing great work, but the mountain of, for lack of a better term, oppression that's out there is so huge that each individual going at it is like going at it with a little spoon, right? Everybody's got their little spoon chipping at it versus us being a collective unit and really, attacking it with the same force all at once. So I really appreciate that mindset that you guys have. So let's talk a little bit about Monday. What did you think of, the guests that we have? What stuck out to you? Did anything stick out with you as it related to the audience as well?
Well, what stuck out to me is those brothers are really in the community doing that work that they said they were doing, and it was special that the dude came from New York and he was doing a lot of stuff and just showing the difference in how the YMCA act up there and the YMCA treat us down here. That was kind of funny to me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I always New York, they kind of move fast, kind of mean, and we just like the Southern hospitality, and that's what we should got to get back to, and that's why we trying to bring unity to our youth and collaboration, because it's a lot of division within our race and within our people, and we just don't know how to connectify those and unify and make it greater. So that's what we trying to push this week. Trying to push it through the whole year, because we done been through a lot with that pandemic, man, and we just need to just try to come together any way we can. So as we were talking to all those boys at Best Academy, and that's an all male school, I was talking to maybe like 50 or 60 sophomores, and I was like, y'all got to look around, and if you say you're alone, you're not alone, because you got 50 brothers in here. Y'all got to unify and be a strong unit for each other. And you just gotta really tap into that, to yourself, to be able to accept another brother and be able to listen to him and be there for him.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. I think that one of the other things is that our organizations, or the organizations that are out there, can help to set that standard of expectation with the young folks. And if they see leadership organizations unified, then why wouldn't they see themselves unified amongst each other, right? So I think that that's a great mindset. Talk about all the different activities, Keith, if you can, that you all done so far this week and what's left.
So Sunday we kicked off with a virtual kickoff. That was cool. We had Mayor Felicia Moore on there. Mayor candidate Felicia Moore, City Council President. And then we had Erica Mitchell from the Board of Education. So I thank them because, that City Council connection and Board of Education connection, that's what's elevated us, connecting with the actual municipalities that are in place. So I was excited for them to be there. A lot of people say they're going to be there, but Ms. Moore was on there 5 minutes early. She listened to our youth that spoke, and then she responded. And it was just incredible to kind of just see that type of leadership there. So we had a lot of other community leaders on. It was incredible just hearing everybody's excitement for this collaboration. Then come Monday, we did Black Man Lab with you guys. That's like the kickoff for us, for Black men to come to that space. Because like me and Jermaine always talk about, that's the only room we've ever been dedicated to. We never joined gangs, fraternities outside of baseball. If it wasn't a business he was owning or a business or a vision I was pushing, we never had any brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure. In the social and entrepreneur and life space, you know what I mean? So Monday was so important. The brothers that came in and facilitated, Jeremy Crane, he's incredible, man. His passion for the youth is ridiculous. Greg Clay. Yeah, Jeremy, his energy, we met him at Best. We were both serving and we just made sure we tapped in from there. And that's been 2 years now. But and then Greg Clay on the panel, Trey Dortch, Thomas Dortch's son, who has done such legendary activism work or a social engagement in Atlanta. And then you had, who's the last person on there? Cooper, who's a native of Camilton Road Y, and Kendrick Mallory, real estate owner, and Cooper, who's painting playgrounds. So Saturday, we're closing at the latest basketball court he painted. Then Tuesday and Wednesday were both youth entrepreneurship camps. Best Academy.
Best was real nice. It was ran by State Farm. Shout out to State Farm. Man, they brought out a lot of agents to talk about community transformation, ownership, financial. It was just super dope for them to be able to come out, take out their business on a Tuesday to come talk to the young men. We had YG George come out and talk to him. We had Chuck Smith, legendary Chuck Smith. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? DN,
Thank
Chuck
you so
Smith.
much, Chuck.
Shout out Chuck Smith Training Systems, man. He came out and spit a word to the kids, man. So it was basically, we had the high school. We had the middle and high school.
Oh, yeah, no, it was just high school.
It was just high school. So we touched maybe how many boys?
160 boys.
160 boys. And they were moving throughout 3 locations: the auditorium, the cafeteria, and the gymnasium. Yeah. So we shout out to the best boys too, man. They took 3 hours of, you know what I'm saying, of a lot of motivational talk, man. They was really, you know what I'm saying, attentive and really engaging.
Yeah, so the school's been good. Dr. Jones has been credible over there at Best. And then, so we did Tuesday there, and then today we had Gene Childs Young. Yeah, crazy. But we couldn't even do it. As soon as we about to start, they had a bomb threat.
Oh, so, I saw that. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, thank God everybody's okay. But, man, we had volunteers that didn't get out of there until 2 hours later because if you parked in the school parking lot, the police went. And it's crazy because, we started our concessions company and we feed the Atlanta Dream now. So luckily we had just got out of there, but we had partners calling us like, man, do you know I'm still at this school? Because they had the dogs out. We want Fox 5. They didn't give us no coverage for Unity Week, but Jermaine got for the bomb threat and we made a drop to all the brothers. So it was incredible, man, because outside of the school guys, it was like 12 of us. 12 black men dressed up nice, actually Jermaine, of course, he helping the police stop the cars and bring them in like And then, and then all the brothers, then he saw the news, man. He happened to know him from Mays because it's Atlanta. If you know, you know. So he said, hey, my boy, come put us on the camera. Keith, talk to him right quick. So shout out to Clarke for being school safety squad, bomb squad, and publicist, and a mentor all in one, and a delivery man, and a delivery man while being a father first. So it was great. And then we're going to end on, well, actually, now it's adding on, guys, because it was ending at Rose Circle, but now we're partnering with Councilman Mark Baker. Miley and I have done a lot of stuff with him down in South Fulton. They're giving away like 20,000 pounds of dry goods on Friday. So they need volunteers. So if anyone is in the South Fulton or available Friday, they need volunteers down there. I don't know how we can share that information, but Councilman Mark is excited. He's partnered with World Changers Church and, other brothers that we're bringing together. And then on Saturday, we're ending at Rose Circle Park, which is in the West End, and it's going to be health screenings, vendors, and Thomas Dorsch III has brought Indie Fest in the Indie Market from Cascade there. So over 50 vendors. So when I tell you it's going to be a great day of community, and then actually it extended to Sunday because K-Camp, the artist K-Camp and his mother, we're collecting medical supplies and goods for Haiti. So we've already collected several pallets of medical goods, and then we're going to ship those off to Miami and they'll be sent to Haiti. So, that's the good thing about community. 2 events came out of us just leading and people saying, hey, can y'all help me? Sure, we're going to tell everybody about it, bring people, and hey, man, it's collaboration over competition.
Absolutely. That's beautiful, man. And hey, make sure you guys in our group chat, group text, you put that information about Friday in there as well.
Yeah, definitely. They
so
said
get some brothers out.
They just need hands. Need hands. So yeah, we'll put that in. We'll put that on here on the Zoom.
No, in our text chat that we have, amongst all of us.
Yep, I'll send that to you.
Yep. So
yeah, full week.
That's awesome. Mal, you coming in there, brother? I see him moving his
Yeah, I'm back, brothers. I'm back. I was just finishing up we still working here, man. I'm sorry.
My stuff now. We told her we still working.
Yeah, it's things are jumping, but man, I wanted to just ask you all more about the efforts that you all have, what you've done, right? And I think it's important that you all tell your story because I think it's a very powerful story. Part of my question is your pivot. When the pandemic hit, how you all, saw a need to feed and you went into that space and just kind of what y'all were doing prior to that at best, because I know you all have maintained the barbershop, doing the mentoring, engaging the young people. You had the youth football, but then when the pandemic hit, you had to make this pivot and you saw a need and you filled it. And just what was the that process? What allowed you all to have, because there are, just like businesses, there were nonprofits who kind of tanked out, right? They just kind of folded because they didn't know what they could do to help. But y'all found a way. And I was watching the piece on Spike Lee last night about how folks in New York began to give EMS and hospital workers different food and different things and how that exploded. So just talk a little bit about that, because I think it's important that people understand you all's story of pivoting and still providing in community.
Yeah. Well, I want you to start at the parapro piece. Like, how did you see that need? We're going to start at the grassroots and then pivot to the food.
So when Keith came with the idea of I'm a father first, and we just really had it sitting around and really didn't know what to do with it until I got this job as a parapro at a elementary school in South Fulton over there. What was it? Northcutt Elementary, man. Shout out Northcutt and Dr. Howell for giving me an opportunity. Even though I had 2 masters and I was, I was overqualified to be a parapro, but since I haven't took the Gates test and all the politics, that I couldn't be a regular teacher. So, I ended up taking the job without even knowing how much I was getting paid. And then one day I'm sitting in the car with my wife, and she the lady called, and I said, how much am I getting paid? And she was like, around about $1,200 a month. So guys, you know what $1,200 a month will do for you? Really nothing. Probably won't pay but maybe 2 bills. So I almost instantly started crying then. But some said go on and take the job. So I took the job, and I had to be the crosswalk. I was in the crosswalk. I was in the morning announcements, doing the dab. So I just became a celebrity at this elementary school, man. So you know what I'm saying? That $1,200 felt like I would get paid $5,000 a month. So I just became a celebrity at the school, and I just really started loving on the kids. And I was like, man, this is really something I like to do. And I seen some boys that were really disruptive in the class, and I kind of studied them and was like, why they acting up so much, man? It was the ones that didn't have no haircuts, shoes was all holy, they didn't have good hygiene. So I was like, man, let me call Keith, because Keith was already doing stuff with Ezekiel Elliott, doing amazing stuff with his branding, had all the athletes on file. So I'm like, let me call, bro. We got Father First in the cut. So I'm like, hey, bro, we need to call some people, cut some of these boys hair and buy some shoes. So after I call him, he can take it from there, because you know what he did. He made 1 call, 2, 3 calls. That's all.
Yeah, so it started like, that's why I wanted Jermaine to start at the beginning of it, because if he wasn't obedient to take that job, this wouldn't be here. You know, the name came from my personal pain, going through a divorce, driving 10 hours, 5 hours to and 5 hours back. And one time I got a pistol pulled on me by the uncle of my ex-wife. And he like, boy, you got to get the hell on. So, you know, imagine me driving 5 hours back, and y'all know my hot-headedness. So I'm hurt. I can't even respond in the negative way. I'm just crushed. So I remember being on Facebook and saying, no matter what, I'm a father first. So the name was birthed from that pain. And then because I was doing branding and apparel for the athletes, we had just done a lot of money in merchandise sales for Ezekiel. So I said, man, we could just put it on a shirt. I saw Zeke make 102K. I'm like, we can put it on a shirt. We ain't gonna trip on nothing else. So I did a shirt, and, you know, Jermaine, you know, he was like, bro, that's ugly. Let me change it up a little bit. He liked how I did it, so he put the block on it. Just simple changes, so the collaboration was always there. Simple changes took it from pain to a passion at the school to a profit through a product, and then birthed the passion. Because this is my second nonprofit. My first nonprofit was when I came home from prison. I was working with ex-offenders. So I knew you got to get to grants. I had an intel on 501c3s, but I had no idea what was about to take place over these next 4 years, whatever happened. So from the school paraprofessional to us now in cutting heads, man, we ended up going to Best Academy and cut over 2,500 heads. We ended up becoming the go-to guys for barbering. And that's when God just really hit me. He said, man, look how I promoted you. You're not a barber, but you're the go-to vendor for Atlanta Public Schools, right? So then I knew anything was possible. You know, I was just like, oh, man, it's crazy. So they gave us like $1,000 for doing a barbershop for the whole year. So it wasn't never about no money. So it's funny when people accuse us of anything about money, because that $1,000, brother, we thought it was that $10,000. Like, we were just happy they respected us enough to give. You right? So then come the pandemic. Bro, like, we literally had just got a check, guys, in Black Man Lab Nation. We had literally just got a check for $3,500 to cut 4 high schools' heads for prom and graduation. We were just excited for the opportunity to cut about 200 heads. My barber charged me $80 by myself. So $3,500 was just literally a love offering from Atlanta Public School to do this. Right. Then boom, the pandemic hit. We can't cut heads. So our biggest fear as a grassroots organization was, do we have to send this money back? That was our biggest fear. But they were like, nah, for all y'all service, y'all keep that. But we're gonna see how we can get y'all back going. Man, a lady tagged me on Facebook, guys. A lady tagged me and said, anybody know families in need of food? And tagged me. So I called the principal, starting with Dr. Jones and these principals, and said, hey, we got some meals. Do you mind if we feed some of your children? So the next day, we go to 3 families, right? Because I hadn't even called Jermaine yet. I'm just going. Y'all know me. I'm out the door. So I serve the families. Of course, he see me on social media. He called me. He like, bro, what you doing? And I say, well, we feed. You coming out tomorrow? And there you go.
So I'm coming out. So once we fed those families, I think the superintendent, we had done did so much good work inside the school. The superintendent just was loving what we were doing with the boys. And she called Keith and was like, Keith, y'all need to stop right now. Cause y'all might kill yourself or y'all might get killed by this COVID. We didn't know how serious it was. And they were like, this is really serious. And she was like, y'all gotta stop. We were like, man, what else we got to do? We can't really stop. We really like going in the car, putting the food out and going to see their family smile. That's kind of made our day. So
these right
here. These meals of love. So we like, man, we love pulling up. So once we did that, she was like, well, let me give y'all $25,000. So picture this, guys. We went from that $3,500 check to $25,000 from Atlanta Public School. From the 1,000 to the 35 to the 25,000.
Right.
And I went to Atlanta Public Schools, and it was just crazy going to the school system that you went to and getting 25,000 from them. You know what I'm saying? And he got kicked out of Atlanta Public School. He got kicked out of Atlanta Public School, but we still receiving it. You see how you can change your life around and still be positive and become something great. So once she gave us that 25,000, I think the floodgates started open. I think T-Mobile came in and gave us like 10,000. The same cell phone service I'm using. Never thought T-Mobile would have gave us none. Gave us $10,000. Then what we got, Kelly?
Then we got the donation that changed. But Marty, you look like you got a question or a thought.
No, go ahead, man. Y'all running. Go on.
I do. I want to jump in real quick. I want to just ask this.
Wait, man.
Talk about once you all started getting it, how your families expanded, because we really need people to understand that these nonprofits don't just run on air, right? We need investment so that folks can serve. So talk about, you all had how many families, and then as they continue to add, how did they add families that needed food? And how did that, talk about that service part of it?
Crazy, right? Because when we got to 25K, I've been serving since I came home from prison in 2005. So I've never received any type of funding before other than friends giving a $1,500 or $1,000, $200. Never received any type of money with a comma to it. So when the 25 came in, I was just like, wow, this is crazy, So when the 25 come, you serving for 17 years now. And to get that type of money, I was like, woo, okay. So we decided to feed 20 families. We had did like 5 that week, and we fed them daily. And then we were just helping families who were living in hotels, just whatever. Because then we got to 25, we said, we're going to do 20 families. We didn't know. We just sat here and just talked about it. We were like, bro, what we going to do? All right, 20 is a good number. 20. So we did 20. And you remember we started on Sunday because we tried to do the virtual party. And we didn't know what we were doing. That's when the word went virtual. Remember, big bro?
Yeah.
And you like, why y'all ain't on the virtual? I'm like, I'm trying to get it to work.
We had a host.
We had a host. We had the chef staff. So we had Finn and Feathers. Shout out to Dame over there at Finn and Feathers. He let us use the kitchen. So this is Easter Sunday, guys. So imagine going from 3 families to now 20. So what we did was we got 4 families from the 5 schools that we served, from Campbellton to Cleveland to MLK to Bankhead. So our goal was to keep a connectivity. The connectivity was always the goal. So then we ended up getting a call that changed our whole profile. This Sunday we did Easter. Monday, I'm putting meals in the car for the driver to take off. I get a call, say, hello, I was calling on behalf of the family. So I'm like, oh yeah, you got a family that need help. They were like, no, calling on behalf of the family. We ended up getting a $15,000 donation from Kelly Lawson. But didn't know who she was.
Never knew who she
was. Then we search and we see 18 hours ago, U.S. senator accused of insider trading. I said, they don't set us up. So I'm going to make this over. Look, I said, we're going to feed these families because they coming for us. And it was crazy, guys, because we didn't know how it was going to get intense. We had no idea. We were totally green deers in the forest. So then after that 15, now we up 50K. The following week, her husband calls. He's over the United States. What is it? Stock Exchange. Jeff Sprecher. Her husband called. I'm riding up Peachtree and I'm counting to God how we gonna keep feeding these families. How long can we feed 20 families a week? Get a call, say, hey, must be the Keith. I say, this is him who's calling. He say, this is Jeff Sprecher. You got a moment. I'm like, Jeff Sprecher. I'm like, oh yeah, I got 10 moments. He asked, how much does it take to keep going? We put together a proposal for $1,057, and he approves it. Send us the first 200,000 within 48 hours. So that's how everything changed. And we literally went from 11,000 was our 990. Is that what it's called? 990 for last year, the year before.
Yep.
Then you come here and you raise over $1 million. And the game changed from there because it got weird.
So how we scaled it, we really had to start off. It took us a month to really get to the number that we got to, guys. So we had to start out with 250 meals a day. Then it went up to 400 the next week. Then it went up to 550. Then it went up to 700. And then we totaled out at 1,400 meals a day. We never did food before. We had to hire like 41 people. We bought like 4 vans. We had a system. It took us about maybe 3 weeks to get the system together. We both had to ride in the vans and get the routes down. So we were serving 2 assisted living homes with about 100 meals apiece.
Yeah, 110 meals.
I at first, when we didn't have all the meals together, I used to have maybe about 30 meals left. I used to feed the whole community up the street from where I stay, all the homeless people in the hood. You know what I'm saying? When I used to pull up, oh, Meals of Love, but you got that meatloaf today? No, we wasn't feeding them no sandwich. We had that meatloaf with that sourberry steak, with that shrimp. You know what I'm saying?
So this is an example of a meal of love right here, because now we're feeding that lamb string, guys. This is what we was feeding the hood. Chicken, asparagus, mashed potatoes. So, the same way y'all feed us at Black Man Lab every Monday, we took that same recipe and we scaled it. So y'all, it's on y'all now.
One more question. Talk about how some of these families, when y'all pull up to somebody's house, man, and they see y'all van with Meals of Love on that van, and I'm a father first, how were the children and the families responded?
So he got a lot more stories. I'm just telling one because there's a reason. This is one of our kids at Gene Child's Young Mother, who we're going to sponsor for meals because we just got a fresh donation. We're sponsoring 5 families, and she's going to be one of them. She's an APS employee, single mother of 5, 4 APS students. She brings her son to everything we do, every workshop. He's respectful. He says, Mr. Keith and Mr. Jermaine, this program really changed my life. And you be looking at her like, what? Because you just floored by this stuff, right? Because kids don't lie. You can't make kids lie. So his mother texted me. I sent her the video testimonial of Jatan Robinson, one of our high school classmates who we fed during the whole pandemic. And she's an APS employee. I sent her the video and she said, this video brought tears to my eyes because I can definitely relate, but so happy to see and have you. We need more men be like yourself and the other guys. Y'all keep doing y'all thing. Y'all have all my support, love, and consistency. And that's all she's ever shown from the time we met her. But I'm sure you got some really heartfelt story because Jermaine was
I got some real story because, I told you I probably put in about a month worth of routes and I got to know the families. I got to know the routes. So I ain't even need the paper no more. I just get in the van and I be hitting. I pull up, I honk the horn. I know what Mr. Smith doing. I know what Mr. Tucker doing. I know when the little boy, you still sleep? But I'm like, boy, you still sleep? But it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But I'm like, boy, you got to get up and do something. So it was like, we had four or five drivers, man, and just did the same route every day for 4 months. And it was like maybe 30 to 35 families. So they got to know those families like back and forth, like how many kids they have. Did the kids need haircuts? Did the kids need any other things? I had this one family, every time I pull up, it's about 11 of them. Every time I pull up, all 11 come outside and say, what's up, Father Fur? What's that? I have them in the yard like, Father Fur. You feel what I'm saying? So it was like really super fun to me just being able to pull up with the food and the good food, and I eat it because I'd be happy at the end of the day. I have me some meals, couple meals. You know, I ain't have to cook because I'm a bachelor now. You know what I'm saying? My wife, and you know, I was doing a hobby with I'm a Father First at first until, you know, it flourished into what we doing now, man. But seeing those smiles on those faces, man, we got some friends and some people that ride for us for life for what we were doing for them, man. I was feeding my next door neighbor. We were feeding the old man down the street who was 101 years old. We were feeding the lady that was 88 down the street. We were feeding the other lady who was just like, man, these meals are so delicious and nutritious.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, for me, it felt good to hire so many people around us. You know, job, workforce development and training and leadership training, I understood more than anything is needed more than anything in our communities, because my mom and father are retired. My dad and my mom drove during the pandemic. My mom was even jacked up her car on Campbellton Road at knife point by a 19-year-old boy, taking my daughter to get her hair braided. She still got in that van at 70 years old and rode with my father, who they've been married for 41 years. So while people may, you know, judge where our source of blessing was from, you know, the people that were impacted, including my family. At Best Academy yesterday, when we did the program, first thing kids say, you was on Disney. And that's from my son having a commercial on Disney. Another teacher came to me and I saw him just keep looking at me. And he was saying, hey, Mr. Lewis. I was like, yes. He said, I'm your son's teacher. I said, yeah, is everything okay? He said, yeah, I want to show you his project, him and Amir, which is Young Jock's son. They are best friends. They did a project on the service that I do in the community. And to see my son, who's like a lot of our Black boys, who doesn't talk a lot unless he's with his friends, to see him put together a PowerPoint addressing my shortcomings as a felon, my blessings from the donation, how many families we helped, our goals to feed over in Africa, our goals to not just feed who we were budgeted for. What people got to hear what Jermaine said is we went over our budget to feed people that weren't allocated in our budget. So in the community, a lot of times when people have their budgets earmarked, bro, the rest of that go to the whoever. But we hired way more people than needed. We gave away college scholarships. We helped families with bills. I mean, my friends told me I thought I was MC Hammer of the nonprofit world because as much ostracization, if that's how you say it, came at us. I honestly felt almost tripped out into doing more than what was already on my heart. So it's a whole nother conversation behind the reality, guys. But we just want to thank the community that let us serve. Because now, as we're going back into funding, that's why we got those meals. Renee Montgomery, who ended up buying the dream from Kelly Loeffler, she said, Keith, bro, tell me what's going on. I told her what's going on, and she hired us to deliver meals. We haven't had any other contracts other than Andrew and Walter Young, YMCA, and the Atlanta Dream. So the community is so important. Everything we do, it has to be fueled by the connectivity that we're bringing together, guys. So we really want, aside from the excitement of something that's unreal, we really want to be able to scale this. We want a Ford truck from our service. Go ahead, Martin.
You know, I was going to, not to cut you off, but that's leading to my next question, right?
Yes, sir.
Which is, you know, I'm a Father's First has been doing some incredible work, and you all have scaled into that work, right? You just kind of walked into it, and you just kept serving and kept serving and kept serving. One of the things that I know that we deal with at Black Man Lab is looking to the future, right? What's our ultimate goal, and what's going to be in the next year, the year after that, and the year after that. So I'm going to ask you guys that. What do you see for I'm a Father First down the road, these next couple years? Where you plan on going? How do you look to serve further?
Yeah.
I definitely see us going. We're working on our membership pack, our chapters. We'll definitely want to be nationwide, just not Atlanta based. Maybe have chapters Mississippi, Oklahoma, just different places where the same thing is needed. Definitely impact a lot more kids than we do, and pretty much have a big building where we got but we got all the things that we need under one roof, as far as being able to have a kitchen in there, to being able to still feed the community, have a training facility with turf and be able to train the kids on healthy and physical living, being able to have computers and laptops so they can do SAT prep and work on coding and doing all those things, and have a workshop where they're being able to use their hands and learn wood shop and all those things that they're needed to make skills, to be able to make skills, to be able to do skills that'll always be able to make them money using their hands.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the membership is what is going to scale this thing, guys. You know, we have a partnership pending with, what is it called? Trio through, what do they call Upward Bound. So they're a nationwide program. So like one of our volunteers today, Miss Riosha Bush, you know, shout out Miss Bush. She brought that feminine energy that we needed to make sure everybody had name tags. We had their name emails, that organizational that we need. You can't just collaborate and you can't bring everybody together and don't know who put the tires on and who put the trunk on. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
We're looking at, oh yeah, I thought you had a question. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
So like for me, the membership, our members pay $250 annually. So like a brother just came over here today. I was looking for the membership card and there's some cash over here. Now people come over just because of the trust from, you know, proclamations and community awards. You know, y'all guys got them lined up for 20 years of service. So we're new, like we're at a new age of that, right? Like you brothers are like 10 years older than us. So we look at ourselves as the ones right under you guys that got to get the 30-year-olds. You know, it's the connectivity that my grandmother who just passed said we didn't have from passing the baton from Dr. King to Malcolm X. You know, what I was told is the leaders and what I saw, the leaders such as Joseph Lowry and John Lewis, our ancestors, they you know, it needed training in there from them to who's right under them. So it don't take 40 years of running their names into the ground. We don't need 40 years of just keeping Jermaine. We need 5 years like a rapper. You need 5 years to be hot, and then you should step back and it should be the next person. We don't need same people hoarding the microphone because we're going to work our tails off because we got a plan to kick back in 5 years. We want to be able to do philanthropy across the world. That's why starting this Haiti thing was so important. And honestly, guys, what we've learned, the biggest impact is to create a network of people because the food, guys, our budget was $91,000 a week. So when Miley talks about, you know, tell us about the money that was there, how it impacted the families, how in the world can we even think to do that now without a certain type of funder behind us, right? The only way is by people donating the meals, donating their time. And what happens in our communities is everybody's oppressed and everybody's under-equipped financially. You can't donate your life away. So we're really working aggressively, shaking the room up to learn how to create social enterprise. Jermaine has some credible stuff that he may want to speak on, but how his plan is for urban redevelopment, that's what it's really called. My father's degree was in urban development, but he always tells me, Andre, you're becoming the son that the Keith that I never was, because he had goals, careers, degrees, and he's a 20-year educator. But he never was able to shake up the superintendent to get him to $1 million because I'm the disruptor in the room. But I walk with his type of leadership behind me. You know what I'm saying?
That's great stuff, man. That's great stuff. And you know, you mentioned something there that I think is super important. And that is part of what our organizations have to do is be ready to pass that baton, right? But it's not just a matter of giving somebody the baton and say, okay, run things. It's the baton of the why. Why do the work, you know?
Wow.
And you guys, your why is evident, you know, in the work that you've done. And I think that there's a ton of other organizations out there like ours that are like-minded. And that's a huge thing that we need now because the energy that these young people have and the level of intelligence that they have when brought out is huge, right? And I'm sure you all have seen that. So talk about that a little bit, man, in terms of what you've seen, the impact has been on the young folks that you have you know, touched in terms of what are you seeing from them as far as skill sets, leadership skills, things of that nature.
Well, I'll speak quickly to JB. JB is a young man that's over at the YMCA with us. You guys know him. He's always there. He's a kid that I remember a couple of weeks ago when we were at the first in-person meet. He said, "Yo, Mr. Keith, can you give me a ride home?" And I'm gonna be honest, my first brain looked at like, well, I'm 5 minutes away from the house. But I remembered who was asking me the question. And I looked at it, I said, oh, well, hey, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're always here. You desire to be better. And he speaks up. Like he tells me, he told me, and I know he contacted Jermaine too. He said, man, for real, I told y'all happy Father's Day because my dad has never been in my life. He said, y'all have a meeting my own father has. And it just hit me like, man, that's what we aim to do. But when it's happening, it's a different impact. So anytime you call him and he tells me like, I don't know how my son appreciates Disney other than his friends glorify it because he's laid back. My son is like Jermaine for the most part. He's just cool. But to hear JB say, man, Mr. Keith, I don't know how you did that, but I desire to do that. I want that to happen for my life. I say, man, as long as we can inspire everybody that you can get a truck from Ford, you can get $1 million, you can get on Disney, you can feed the same school that you were put out of. As long as we put that hope in them, these kids coming back up to us like, I thank you. And that's why I always pay honor to Miley and yourself, especially Miley, because, you know, he's been open to listen to my sports dreams, to my nonprofit dreams. And that's what a big bro do. A big brother don't shun you down and just be like, oh, this is another thing he doing. He actually take the time like we doing. You're listening to us. And this gives us a chance to reprocess how we can interview better, how we can talk better, how we can scale this vision, and how we can impact people better. So these conversations are what's most important because the youth only see what we show them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You would jump in, Molly? Were you about to say something?
I have to, man, because when he start talking about Lil JB and just really hearing, it's about relationships, you know, and one of the things that we talked about in my maturation as an organizer has been, you can't ever give up on your brothers or your sisters or your community, because what do you have if you do that? What's left? And you know, me and these brothers, we've had conversations at the office, on the phone, on Zoom, because I believe in your heart. You know, that's the thing. When you see somebody serving, and you like, man, where did they get this service from? And then you see their whole family coming out like, all right, we're going to help serve. We're going to help serve the community. You know, I think we got to recognize that. And so often we don't recognize, because as what you all have lifted, people think of competition. But how can you be competing when we are all oppressed? What's the competition? You know, there is no competition in liberation work, right? It may be in the nonprofit sector, you know, but that ain't what this is for. We're trying to build the JBs of the world so that they can believe, you know, that it's possible, so that they can be the father that wasn't in their house, but the father they met through Keith and Jermaine and all of us at the Y. And so I just wanted to elevate that, man, because I think that sometimes we move past stuff when we need to sit on it for a second and be like, nah, this is important for people to hear. We can't give up on each other. We have to keep supporting each other and model for our young people. Because folk always talking about, but damn, ain't no unity in our community. Well, is it unity in your house? Is it unity in your family? Is it unity on your block? Is it unity amongst the people that you rock with? Because if you're not creating it, it ain't gonna fall out the clock, out the sky. You got to build unity.
At the end of the day, is there unity in you? You know, you have to start right here. You know, yeah.
But I just want to put that out there, man. I appreciate you, brothers, man, because I've always felt like it's genuine, and I feel when y'all say y'all going the best, I mean, who could turn down showing up at an all-boys black school on the west side of Atlanta?
Right.
You know,
Right.
like
No, bro.
you about this life of building young black men and supporting black men, and these brothers say, y'all come over here. Man, and I can't tell you what all I had to do that day. I gave them the strongest 10 minutes I had, but I was going to beat it.
Yeah.
Because I believe in you, bro.
Like you, bro. Like you got to just show up. It's so many people, especially as we hit that big stride last year, people just call their agendas, bro. And just to see, you know, I mean, honest with you guys and some real black man talk, I was happy for that phase of my life to be gone because I'm such an adrenaline junkie. Once I don't felt that high, I'm ready to go to the next one, man. So I honestly felt like a Kobe where he like, boy, you got to go shoot in the gym. And if it wasn't for my brother, this organization wouldn't even be here after last year. You know what I'm saying? I never knew what it felt like for a top player when I worked with several of them, for them to want to give it all back because of the pressure, because no one else is stepping up to the plate. Everybody is on their heels instead of being on their toes. And last year, it developed so many relationships with me, with like Bud Dupree, who just got an $82 million deal in Tennessee. Because he said, Keith, I'm sitting there watching Disney with my son, and I see you. He said, I saw your son. I'm like, that's little Keith? And then you pop in, and he was like, bro, because he was there. We stayed at his house when we first started this, and we like got to go on the first time on a football field. So his access and his exposure, but our exposure to him. Another player we got, NFL boys, they going through falsely accusations of rape. He lost millions of dollars, Alexander Johnson. And then guess what? Now he's about to hit a $15 million a year contract because when he was down, he was never down. He came and served with us at Maynard Jackson. I remember giving this man gas money to get home, and now he can feed the whole city. And it's just because we never give up on our brothers, man. So I just thank y'all for that leadership. When you pull up, bro, I be wanting to cry. Because you'd be like, I know this man could be so many other places. Right. I had 3 people come to me asking for you afterwards. And we don't realize how big our profiles get until it's just by somebody else saying it. You don't realize how much people are pulling on you from every direction. Can I talk to him about this? Can I talk to him about that? So it's just an example of your character and leadership, and then just loving us through our time to help us make sure we stay yoked, man. So we appreciate you on a whole nother level, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Go ahead.
Y'all got to talk about these. I know Marty talking about the habits, rituals.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go ahead, Marty.
Yeah. So and I'm going to do that here in a second, but I just want to say a big piece of what you were just talking about there, Keith. You know, is as stuff happens, as we're moving and organized, it's huge to have that balance, right? Like you got Jermaine, who, you know, very level-headed, calm, and y'all, you know, right. And hey, y'all best of friends, me and this dude, same way, you know, and while we're 2 different cats, you know, but you need that, you know, you need that in your life to keep moving forward and doing especially this kind of work, man. So kudos to you guys again. Love y'all for that, man, and love y'all for what you're doing right now with Unity Week. Every week, guys, we talk about habits, rituals, and disciplines, the things that you do on a daily basis that keep you moving, doing this work, whether there's a paycheck behind it or not. You know, the stuff that keeps you moving and keeps you grounded and successful in what you're doing. So I'm going to ask you both your habits, rituals, and disciplines. Whoever wants to go first.
I guess I go first. Pretty much, man. My rituals is really just making sure I don't rush too many things at one time. So I just try to not be so anxious for a lot of different things, and just try to stay calm. You know what I'm saying? I pretty much I like a little edible sometimes, you know.
Hey, Molly, and he's blown the habits and rituals up.
That's Delta 8. Delta 8, y'all. CBD, Delta 8. It is. We have a hemp farm. It is completely legal. CBD, Delta 8.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try that. So that's all I be doing, a little CBD, and and that's pretty much prayer. Pray, you know, talk to my mom every day, man. She died when I was like 20, so you know, I pretty much and what I do if I'm in the car, I try to listen to about 30 minutes of some gospel music. Cause I don't, you know, I really don't like preaching is cool, you know what I'm saying, if I like the preacher, but I like the music better. So I try to get that good Holy Spirit through that music in the car for about 30 minutes. So I won't have no road rage.
Hey, you got to get it however you get it.
Yes, sir.
You know, and then on top of that, if you got you some good gospel and maybe you have a little something to mellow you out, you're feeling it the right way. I get you. I'm
the right way. I'm going up through that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I say habits is definitely prayer, like you said. You know, the habits is just really just putting ourselves in a space of peace. You know what I mean? Because honestly, without each other, we really don't even really have a lot of people that we deal with intimately. You may have a lot of associates, but you know, we're each other's like person that you lean into. So I think habits for us, we've got into more real conversations, man. Like last year where we, you know, damn near ready to come to blows, you know what I'm saying? We had to sit down and our habits became intentionally talking about what we want this organization to look like, you know, and then rituals, of course, is prayer. And my habits also is reading. You know, look, I got like a stack of books. I keep my Owl's book with me in my book bag. You know, I read so much because even when I was incarcerated, that's how I really got my knowledge level to another level, because when everybody else is talking about what's on TV, I'm reading. So I'm like an extroverted introvert because I'm going to talk like crazy when I'm passionate. But if it ain't no passion for it, if it's just some random sporadic conversations, I don't engage in it at all, really. So I think my main habit is just prayer and just constantly focusing on what my goals are. Like this book took 10 years to come out. And my focuses and my rewards is the desensitization of the Black family. That's the name of this book. Unity Week in our curriculum has 10 tenets, you know, talking about sports innovation and leadership. We've been able to craft stuff like I honestly feel like we like ancient chemists or something, y'all. Like I feel like we rewrite our own history, which I know we are, but it comes from understanding our ancestors. Like I never honored that until working with you brothers. You know, I never understood the value. But when I say John Lewis' name or my grandmother, Justine Murray, or my other grandmother, I can feel them in my body. So I see why you do it. You know, I feel like I'm welcoming them into my spirit. And honestly, my grandmother told me before she passed in March, she said, Andre, you became the man that I wanted you to be. So, you know, what drives me is for those responses. You know what I'm saying? We can't please people that ain't around us, that haven't seen us from yay high to this high. But for people like my mom and dad are at every event, really, even during COVID, even pre-vaccine, because they believe in us, you know. So I think for us, man, it's just like talking to his mom. Even like a lot of time now we'll be doing stuff when we fed the Atlanta Dream for the first time Monday. I said, your mama will be proud, bro. And in 20 years, I never really looked at it like that. You know what I'm saying? I look at the fact that she covering us, but I look at it as ancestor now, and I'm like, oh, that was Margaret Clarke shining on us, because I know what it feel like now, because I can feel my grandmother, you know?
Absolutely. And that's so true. You know, I think that, you know, as we do the work, whenever I hear, you know, from my folks or my parents' folks, or like Mauli's folks, and they say they love the work you're doing, and you just like, okay, I'm doing something right. You know,
right.
And you know those that came before them that are now ancestors and looking down and feel that same way, man. So I completely get that and understand it and feel it. You know, and it keeps you pushing doing this work. So, Molly, did you have anything else before we're up against the clock, by the way?
Yeah, I know we got to close out. I just wanted to give, man, I'm glad we had this conversation. You know, we got this Pan-African Festival on Saturday. And so I've been scrambling, and I didn't know that if I could be a part of this conversation, but I'm grateful that I was, because being a part of it very different from me watching it after the fact, which I would have done, but I'm glad I was able to be a part of this. This is a full circle moment, man. This is special. We got to keep
Yeah.
riding,
Full
man.
circle, man.
Yeah.
Bro, you a living legend. So, bro, hey.
Man, appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, Mark.
Hey, man, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you all, if y'all can get some of these young brothers you have in the Black Man Lab space, man, we need to touch all of them as much.
Yeah,
as
bring that whole best, man. Remember, Chief, 1 minute y'all was before the pandemic, we was able to bring some of them young brothers from Best, man. Try to see if you can, pick one Monday out the month that y'all can bring the 9th grade, one Monday the 10th, 11th, and mix them in there with us.
So you don't want to do it at the school. You want to bring it to the Y, right?
Bring them to the Y. Let them get in that space too. We'll mix it up, but we want to create that kind of for them to come in and not be in their same surroundings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. And feel that energy. Y'all know what that energy is like. It's a different touch. So
that's what keep bringing us all back.
Exactly.
I can't wait to Monday. My people tell me I know where you're gonna be on Monday. I don't no more. I'm confused. I like to come see y'all.
Somebody look, Dr. Matthew Williams, the president of ITC, he called it Black Man Church. So we received that from my brother Matt Williams, President Williams. So
yes, sir. So brothers, let's close out like we always do, man. If y'all can lock it up just like we were together, I love that y'all next to each other. That's perfect, man. Y'all lock it up for real. We out here fake with it, but the feeling, man. So if y'all could just repeat after me, I'm a link in this chain.
I'm a link in this chain.
And it won't break here.
And it won't break here.
I'm a link in this chain.
I'm a link in this chain.
And it won't break here.
And it won't break here.
We are links in this chain.
We are links in this chain.
And we won't break here.
And we won't break here.
Ashe, brothers. Love y'all, man. Thank you again. And we'll keep pushing.
Thank y'all, man.
All right. Peace, y'all.